Hi, my name is Karen Leahy, and I am the Digital Services Administrative Librarian at the South Kingston Public Library. Today, I'd like to tell you a little bit about our newest resource, our digital archives of the Narraganset Times, which we have from 1855 to 1980. This project was made possible by the Rhode Island Office of Library and Information Services and the Institute of Museum and Library Services. So let me start by sharing my screen so you can see exactly what I see. Okay, so I'm starting from the library website, which is just one of the ways that you can get to this resource. So on the main front screen of the library's page, you can see this slides in the middle that go to different things about the library. And if you move your mouse to the arrow on the side, we can go through them a little faster. And here's the Narragansett Times. We can click right on it and it'll bring us there. There's another way to get to it. And let me just go back to our website. If you go to your library and then scroll down to research links, you can see at the very bottom here is Narragansett Times Digital Access. And the third way you can get directly to this resource is just by typing in the address in the address bar of your internet browser. The address is southkingstown.advantage-preservation.com. Now, you can see we're already right here. There's no login needed for this. This is freely accessible. And what do we see when we're here? We've got right in the middle the search box. Here you can type in people, places, events, dates, anything you really want to search for. You can limit your search dates if you'd only like to see a certain time span, like if you wanted to only see 1903 to 1913, you could do that. If you only wanted to see March of 1954, you could do that. If you leave these blank though, it'll search the entire archive. With the menu right next to the search box, you can change the way you search for your search terms. It defaults to all the words right here, but you can see that we can change it to exact phrase, any of the words, or none of the words. So you could search all of words to find the most broad results. The exact phrase, if you're using more than one search term, like a person's name, and say it was John Smith. If you used all the words, you would get every article that mentioned both John and any article that mentioned Smith. But if you chose exact phrase, you would only get articles that mention John Smith. And any of the words and none of the words is your other choice. Why would you want to use none of the words? Well, say you're looking for articles about islands and you type in islands and hit use and all of the words and hit search, and you get so many articles coming up because you know what it's picking up? Every single instance that the word Rhode Island are mentioned. So what you could do is add a search term for none of the words and put in road, and then it would exclude any articles that mentioned road and include any articles that mentioned island without the Rhode Island part. So as you can see, it can take a little experimenting to get your search terms down correctly. And if you ever need any help with that, a librarian here at the library can certainly help you. The other parts of this page, you can browse by title and browse by year. So the two titles here are the Narragansett Times, which runs 1855 to 1980, and the Narragansett Times with the Washington County Advertiser insert was 1864 to 1889. We can also browse by year, so you could select any of these decade denominations here, and then once you click on it, a little box will pop up and you can choose what year you actually want to search. So let's take a look at what the search page results look like. So no matter what you want to do, if you choose to browse by year or search by keywords, your search results will look similar. Let's browse by a certain year. Let's just click on a year and pick one. So let's go with 1932. And it'll bring us to our search results page. You can see the list of the results in the center, and your search information is over on the left-hand side. You can see that I selected the decade of 1930 and the year of 1932. If you do search using keywords, it'll look slightly different. So let's take a look and see how that would look. So let's try searching. So I'm going to type it right in the center here. And then you can either use the Enter key on your keyboard or go ahead and click Discover. And here are our search results. You can see the difference right away. It's that in the search results, the search term that you used is highlighted in your search results. So you can get a little preview of the context in which your search terms come up. Now you can further filter these search results by year and decade. So let's try filtering it down to the 1950s. So instead of 4,800 search results, I'm going down to 613. And we can further filter it down to a specific year. So we could choose any of the years in the 1950s. Let's go with 1953. And now we're down to only 47 results, but that's not all. You can also further filter down to a specific day if you'd like. You can use the directional arrows next to this little calendar over here that has, right now it's on December 1953. And you can use the directional arrows to navigate to the month you'd like to look at. Let's go to a good month for apples. How about September? And select the day you want to look at. So you might have noticed that not all of the days are highlighted. You can see on the month of September, only the 10th, the 17th, and the 24th are highlighted. That means that these are the days from which we have newspapers which do include your search terms. Typically, the Narraganset Times came out on Thursdays for a while, and then it came out on Fridays. I could check and find out exactly when the switch was for you, but I don't have it right offhand. So these days highlighted in gray are the results for in September. So in September, the word apple was mentioned in the 10th, 17th, and 24th issues. So let's take a look at the 17th. You might notice, let me hover over that again. When you hover over the date you'd like to look at without clicking, a little box will pop up and tell you 2 papers found. Now, in the context of this database, that means there's 2 pages of the September 17th, 1953 issue of Narraganset Times. Apple was mentioned. Clicking on the 17 loads the results for us, which we can see here. In our results, we see down in the lower right-hand corner the page number that the search results came up on. Here you can see that it came up on page 14 and on page 6. And on page 14, it looks like that it is talking about apple butter, and that sounds delicious. So let's take a look at that. So here we are. We're going to get our first look at the actual image of the newspaper. This is September 17th, 1953. And you can see that even in the direct newspaper image, it's highlighting my search terms so I can find them quickly on the page. It's a little hard to see. We can zoom in to get a better look. So you'll see this top bar at the top of the screen has a bunch of icons on it. The home is for home. These 3 little lines is to go back to your search page. The magnifying glass is if you want to try searching a different term on this page. This square with line through it is for cropping. The download button will download the entire page. And then on either side of the page width, we have a minus magnifying glass and a plus magnifying glass. And we can zoom in to get a better look at our article. Let's make it a little bigger. Here we go. We've got our apple butter recipe. And you'll notice that it's definitely a little faded. There's some parts that are difficult to read. That's an issue with all these, but some of them are more readable, some are less readable. And I think it's still, you can pretty much still make it out. What's next? So our apple butter recipe is definitely a little faded, but right next to it is a recipe for bread and butter pickles, and that sounds pretty awesome too. So say you wanted to save this recipe for bread and butter pickles. Well, first we're going to have to select what we want to save. And as I mentioned earlier, up at the top of the screen, the fourth icon down is a square with a line through it, and that is the crop button. If we click on that, we have this little square that we can move around our screen. We're going to put it right over what we want. And then we're going to use these little squares on the side to adjust it to cover the entire clipping we want to make. So we can adjust it until we have everything we want in there and then nothing we don't want. And once we have it selected, what are we going to do next? We're going to click this little arrow at the bottom right of our selection to bring us to the next page. Now here we can do some editing to our image, but we can also, if you'd like to, go directly to print or save, which are these two small icons down here at the bottom of the screen. Printer brings you right to printer. Save is just going to save it as a picture on your computer. But we can also add some things to our image. This would be for if you wanted to add some labels or comments to it, or if you wanted to share it to social media. So we can add a title in this box up here. We can name it Bread and Butter Pickles 1953. And this is for comments over here. Check out this recipe from 1953. And then we're going to go ahead and click the next button. You can add artistic filters to your image to change the way it looks. You can see if I select yes, they come up down here. You can make it look different ways, make it darker, give it different tints, you know, whatever you'd like to do. Oh, that one looks nice. Let's use that one. And you can also use this highlight image function. So if we click on that, then we get, when we move over this image, we have this little dot that moves with us. So if we drag it over the top, you can highlight a certain part, and then that's highlighted. So if you want to draw attention to a certain part of your image, you'll do it with the highlight function. Go ahead and click next, and that is it. You can see now that our image has our comments on the side to the right side near the top. The title we gave to it is down near the bottom. Right above that, it tells us where we got it from. It was page 14 of the Narraganset Times in Wakefield, Rhode Island on Thursday, September 17th, 1953. And underneath our comments, it also has found in the community archive of the South Kingstown Library. Now on this page, you can also print, save, and you can also share to Facebook or Twitter. So now that we're done here, we can just click this little X to get out of here. And we can do some browsing instead of searching for a specific term. So to get out of these search results completely, we're going to go up to this top menu, click the home button to get right back home. So if we just want to browse instead of doing a search for a certain term, let's browse the year 1900. So we're going to come down to browse by year. We're going to select 1900 to 1909, and then we'll select 1900. So it's starting off in November for whatever reason. But if you wanted to look at the, let's say the first paper of 1900, we'll then scroll all the way back to January 1900. And the first paper of that year was on January 5th, and you can see it says 8 papers found, which again, in the context of this database, means actually there was 8 pages to the issue on January 5th. If we click on that, it's going to come up in our search results over here. And each page comes up as its own search results. If we click on the first one, it's just page 1. It's going to load page 1 of the January 5th, 1900 issue. We can see some advertisements, some local news. That's here. If you want to continue browsing through this issue, you can use right next to where we did our zooming in earlier, there is 2 arrows on either side of this button that says 1 out of 8. If we click on it, it shows us all the pages, so you can go directly to another page. You could click on 2 out of 8 to go right to the second page, or we can just use the arrow to the right and go to the next page. There we go. Now we're on page 2. You can continue to read like that. So those are the basics of browsing, searching, clipping, saving, printing, and sharing that you can do with this great new resource. If you have comments or questions, please let us know and we'd be glad to help you. Reference librarians can be reached at the main branch by calling 401-789-1555, extension 4109 for the reference desk. Have a great day, and I hope you enjoy it.